MIG welding vertical joints can be one of the most frustrating skills to learn, but it doesn't have to be that bad, and I'm going to walk you through it in this video. Hey, welcome to the shop. Today we're going to go over vertical MIG, both uphill and downhill. We'll talk about how to keep your material from piling up and go over some practical tips and techniques. Now let's start off by talking about when you should go uphill versus downhill. And this is a huge debate, and I'd love to know what you think in the comments, but please keep it respectful. While there are a lot of nuances, and you should definitely make sure the technique you're using works for your application, I use a simple rule of thumb, and that is just the material thickness. 1/8 inch thick material can run vertical up or down. If it's thinner than that, I'll usually run it downhill. If it's thicker than that, I'll usually run it uphill. We're going to use 1/8 inch thick today, and we'll run both downhill and uphill and look at some of the differences. So as far as machine settings, most machine door charts or the built-in settings for synergic machines are based on running in the flat and horizontal position, and they're usually pretty good for downhill MIG as well. So here in my technique, I need to pay attention to my stick out, my work and travel angle, as well as my travel speed, and notice I'm moving pretty fast here to stay up ahead of that weld puddle. I'm putting in material and heat the whole time, and I've got to stay up ahead of it to get good penetration when I'm running downhill, and that's why it's really best for thinner material. I'm not using much travel angle. I'm just slightly above perpendicular to the plate, and this is a really easy technique and doesn't require a whole lot more than running in the flat and horizontal position, and gives really good results when you're on thinner material. 1/8 inch thick and thinner is kind of my rule of thumb again, and it can be really strong here and holds up really well. Definitely outruns the base metal. You can see the back of that plate didn't open up at all. So it's my preferred method for thin material. That joint turned out great, and I've had really good results running downhill on 1/8 inch thick material, and as you get into thinner sheet metal, it works really well. Now let's try running vertical up with that exact same technique and those settings and see what happens. Now with vertical up, I'm putting metal and heat in at the same rate that I was before, but notice how slow I'm traveling to stay with that weld puddle because I'm fighting gravity as I try to move my way up. And this is really the issue. So all that heat and metal has to go somewhere, and it typically droops out and piles up below. And if you run this way, you're going to end up with a big crown on your weld. Now, there are some advantages to that because you have so much time for that heat to soak in that you can really penetrate on thicker material, but that crown on the weld bead profile is less than ideal. Now, this is still a pretty strong weld, and I've certainly bought products with worse welds than that, but we can do better by making two changes to our settings and our technique. I'm going to reduce my wire feed speed, and I found a good rule of thumb is drop it by right around 30%. And that gets you in the ballpark without putting too much wire in as you wait for that puddle to rise. But the default voltage for that wire feed is probably going to be a bit low, so I turned that up about 1.5 volts. Now the way we're going to change the technique is introduce a slight weave. Now I'm not weaving outside of the puddle like some people do to stack dimes. I'm sticking with a weld puddle, imagine it about this wide, and I'm just moving from side to side, quick through the middle and slow on the edges, quick through the middle and slow on the edges. And notice there's a little bit of an arc to it just to touch the front leading edge and advance things a little bit as I work my way up. The overall travel speed is about the same that I had before, except now I'm putting in 30% less wire, and I'm using that slight weave just to spread that weld out and smooth it over a little bit to tie into the corners without having so much just up as a crown on top. So notice I'm getting a little bit of spatter. I might have gone just a little bit high on the voltage, but it's definitely workable. Now the exact pattern that you use isn't all that important. You could do more of a zigzag or triangle, and it's going to work just fine either way. The principle is you're just spreading this out. Now notice I don't put my wire clear to the edge of the puddle. There's a bit of a diameter around it, so I'm just watching the edge of that puddle and trying to keep it as even as possible. You can see that it did heat soak a little bit up towards the top, so it was a little more challenging to keep that weld spread out with this 1/8 inch thick on these smaller coupons. That's not as big of a problem on a larger project with more mass or on thicker material, but it is something that you end up dealing with when you're running vertical up. Either way, the weld is definitely strong and you got a lot of heat into it, and there's no separation there at the back side of the joint. Now, if we take a look at the bottom, you can see with this downhill how much less heat soak there is as I worked through than when I was running uphill. When I ran uphill, it heat soaked that whole side and the top there. So you definitely have a lot more heat input. That's going to affect distortion and things like that. So there are pros and cons. Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this or learned something, let me know by hitting that thumbs up below or leaving me a comment. And if you are looking to level up your skills and you want me to walk through the whole learning process with you in small baby steps that make it so much easier to learn, check out my affordable online courses linked in the description. We'll see you next time.